for you, you are privileged.
Uh,
Because you have the financial means to live. Unpacking and then going somewhere and packing
mhm.
does cost money, right?
Yeah.
It does cost because even shipment, even settling down. That's why even if a company sends you to somewhere to work, they have to pay for all their expenses, right? 10, 20, 30,000 for settling down. Without disclosing any of your confidential preparation, how much do you think you all per person, per capita, or per family, willing or preparing that this sum of money is for you to relocate?
I would say, I'm not saying this is my number, but roughly, if you have like 1 mil Hong Kong, which is quite safe if you are not a big spender, and
Which is 1 million is almost like 200,000 Singapore dollars.
yeah,
Divided by
yeah,
5. You buy a coin divided by 5,
yeah. And I assume that you didn't need to immediately buy a flat over there. You can still rent a place. Then you can slowly blend into the community. And I'm saying that you're not living in places like New York or London which have an even higher living standard in Hong Kong. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you're going to some moderate and humble or average city that everyone can be livable. And I think as long as you got some saving in your pocket, and then you have quite a stable job, disregarded what kind of job that you are doing, you may have to be a blue collar. Even I have to maybe have to be a blue collar. But as long as I'm going for a change, I'm looking for a more liberal society. Then I think people are fine. Like you can have like 1 million Hong Kong dollars, or maybe less. Depends on if you're lucky enough, you get a job placement over there, then you'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay, that's why I say you're more privileged because you do have the financial means. What about a lot of people? They want to go, but because of many financial reasons.
Yeah. So yeah. And then
relocate.
That's how we become very immigration policy savvy. Yeah, that becomes our group's topics between friends, and talk about, hey, this kind of career or this kind of jobs is actually on demand in certain countries. And you may want to have a try. We're running this kind of discussion like every day, every week, whenever we'll meet up.
I would like that to be our third part of the session. If you can also invite another friend, then very open conversation.
Actually, I'm thinking if I can invite one of my friends who is already in Australia.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
The three of us can have a very good conversation. Let us do that for part 3. Now I've got one question. Because I enjoy this so much, and as we move along our conversation, right, you have become clearer and clearer to me because of a lot of things that is becoming more and more defined for the outsider who's looking in. Sometimes we look in, like for example, my neighbors are quarreling. I don't know why they're quarreling. They may say this person say this and that person say that, right? Until I really go into. So I think you have really drive the whole conversation to something that I'm very easily understandable for myself. One more question. I'd like you to define liberal, because everybody has a different mindset, right? Because that is a very nebulous definition. Your liberal and my liberal and someone in America, someone in Europe is totally different, right? So it must be based on a comparison, isn't it? Like someone is rich, I can't say what is rich, because unless this richness is based on a comparison with another person, this person is richer, this person is poorer, because there's a quantum, right? Can you explain to me what is the liberal liberty you're looking at, And what is the opposite that you're not looking at? Explain to us.
Well, I'm trying to looking for a place or a society that they have norms, that they accept different kinds of opinion. Firstly, that's very important for people to have diversity in terms of opinion. And then secondly, to be more, as you said, Hong Kong people are very industrious, right? But for generation like us, we don't want to be that kind of industrious. Because back in the days,
it's too much like really fighting for your faith.
yeah, because it's
Every
like,
day you're just fighting for your faith.
yeah. It's like, because like, for example, like 40 years ago, before the hangover, like in the 80s or 90s, if you're being industrious, you can get a very decent return in terms of money. But yeah, no matter you are a businessman or no matter you are just a very stable office worker, that you have saving and you save on the property market and you invest on the property market, and then the very next day you become a rich man. That's how the legends go in Hong Kong.
How the legends go.
Yeah, back in Hong Kong, back in like 40 or 30 or 40 years ago. But now, for now, it's more like people are working still working very hard. We're still working very hard, like early as I 8, and then or even earlier, and then we sometimes we work until like 11 or 12. But I don't want to become a norms that people have to work very, very hard
to fight for their faith every day.
Yeah, fight for their faith every day, and it's just to get average return of money, and to sacrifice their family time or their own time just for the sake of work or the monthly balance that you earn. And this is what I call liberal, because in Hong Kong you're not allowed to. I mean, it is not really in a hard rule that you're not allowed, but you're not allowed to sack. You're not allowed to have a different view towards your career, or you're not allowed to have another thing of, if I really have to work that hard, or maybe can I spare like 1 or 2 more hours with my family? Can I? Then people would try to say, we have been through the same thing. We need to be that hardworking, or else we will be la 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 la. And that kind of monotone, or that kind of industrious is not what I'm looking for.
I think you have also put the nail on the head. I think in this generation that we all live in, fighting for your faith, right? Mm-hmm. I think should not be the mantra now.
Yeah.
When governments can put in policies, right, to alleviate poverty and make people live a better life, because we're all taxpayers.
Yeah. I mean, because both I know both Singaporeans and Hong Kong people are very hardworking and are very industrious, and I would say that even if government didn't really lay down some policy to alleviate poverty, we are still very hardworking. We are still very diligent, but we want to have at least I myself want to have a limit. Yeah, I don't want to see, because both my wife is a working wife as well, and she's even busier than me, and I don't want to become a case that we miss out too much for our kids, or even we don't want to miss out too much for ourselves.
We already have an hour of conversation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
like what I said, all my guests who come in, their views are so important. And you do not know, actually, you want your story to be out, because actually the world is waiting for your story. The world wants to hear you out. And I think you've done yourself and your peers a great favor by telling me, which represents a lot of people who are really fuzzy, you offering us a little bit more clarity for what's going on in your generation. And I would like to thank you and commend you on that. And I'd like to invite you again on session B. The session B, I would like to hear from you. What really went on with the youth protest in our part B? And also, hopefully, in part C, we can invite another of your friends, either in Hong Kong or elsewhere, Australia or elsewhere, to tell us a little bit more about your conversations at home. You know, what worries you at night? What keeps you up at night? What keeps your whole family worried? What's your aspiration? What's your fears? What's your worry? What's your hope? What's within your control and what's not within your control? I think we are in a situation that we have so much information, right? We are so educated, but yet sometimes we feel we are not in control at all. We feel we want to do something, but yet we can't. You know, it's always pendulum swing. So I hope that you can come back. Thank you so much once again, Dave. I want to thank you. And for those viewers who are tuning in, I hope that you come back to tune in to part 2 and then part 3 of Dave. Thank you once again.